Hello, Toonami faithful, and welcome back aboard Toonami Absolution, the show where we take a look at the shows that made us and you into the people we are today. Once again, we are your hosts. My name is Alex.
I'm Sam.
I'm John, and we are back with Sailor Moon, dealing with two episodes, Slim City and So You Wanna Be a Superstar. Welcome to both Sailor Moon's most poorly dated episode, which is saying something, and the Deke dub finally going all out confusion. So, episode 3, Slim City, aired June 3rd, 1998. Yeah, picks up where the last one left off, and it's an adaptation of Learn How to Be Skinny from Usagi. It's not good in Japan either. Then episode 4 for the Deke dub is actually the 7th episode in Japan. For various reasons, Deke cut out I have a Scent of a Monster, Cheerleader Will Steal Your Love, Protect the Melody of Love, Usagi Plays Cupid. So this is episode 4 in English is episode 7, Usagi Learns a Lesson, Becoming a Star is Hard Work. Why they cut these episodes, sometimes it's because of some of the content being a little near the knuckle. Sometimes I think it's just because they didn't want it. That also makes it especially funny. They left Slim City in, considering I kind of love Slim City, to be fair, because you can clearly see you've got the American writer saying we can't say dieting is good. We can't do this. But the Japanese footage is very much saying dieting is good.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the Japanese version of it isn't good. Pre-warning. It's just not a good. It's dated horribly.
Yeah.
It's interesting to talk about, especially in the context of the 90s, because again, you got to remember the era in which some of these dubs were happening, where in the 90s that was the era in America of heroin chic, where the goal was to be as skinty and thin and small as possible. And like I will admit, this episode, the third episode is all over the place with its messaging. I do like the Sailor Moon Says segment at the end of episode 3, where it's like, talk to a doctor, talk to somebody, and remember that beauty comes from within. Like, I do think that that is a positive message. Granted, we spend the entire episode calling Serena fat, but
Oh, not even that. I would argue that says literally says it could save your life. They are literally going full PSA. This isn't like it'd be better for you. You will die if you diet poorly. Is basically, which is a more hardcore than most of these go. A lot of the Sailor Day segments are just very wishy-washy.
Yeah.
This is like one of the few times where you can tell they're like, no, we're being firm now.
Well,
Usagi is the worst person to deliver this message, but we're doing it.
yeah. I mean, there's a clear message here. Like, there's a clear message with and I guess we should probably explain the narrative premise of the
Yeah,
overall episode with Usagi feeling that
fat.
she's put on some weight or feeling that she's put on some weight and going to this fitness thing that's secretly run by, Jadeite and there's
in his
anorexia.
costume.
Yeah,
Jedi and
there's
his
a lot of
crotch.
stuff that goes. Yeah.
Oh my God, Jedi in his crotch.
This is
Yeah.
also a bizarre episode in general because this is so yeah, Usagi goes to this gym. This is a few times where Jedi wins. He does collect energy from a lot of people. He doesn't. Yeah, we see other people; they are not saved. This has no monster. Jedi's
Yeah.
minions are mind-controlled workout people who are built like members of the Ginyu Force for some reason. Um,
Super
and
Sentai.
we're
Toku
very slim.
Sentai. Toku Sentai.
I
We're the
love it. Here to
slimmest people
pump.
in the universe. And yeah, Tuxedo Mask doesn't help in this episode either.
No.
There's no rose throw. Probably is indoors. He has no way of aiming it. But yeah, this is just such an odd episode in context. And again, we had this weird thing with Luna because they're trying to make Luna be like more friendly because in Japan, Luna is just like you're fat.
Yeah. Yeah.
But this is they have like, oh, you're not too bad. Then she draws fat Usagi. It's like Luna, pick a lane.
Yeah.
I do have to. There are parts of this that I genuinely have a lot of affection for. Like I like how Serena's family is like, hey, you're fine. There is, and that speaks to a lot of the culture at the time, where especially girls in her age group, when you're talking about those early teens, eating disorders have always been on the rise in those age groups, and to have a character like this to try to talk about it, even if they have to edit some things and change a lot of things up, it's done in a way that doesn't feel as condescending as some other shows have done similar concepts. Like I don't remember, it's not an eating disorder exactly, but I don't know if you guys remember that episode of Full House where one of the
Uh,
characters had an addiction to caffeine pills.
Oh,
was it
yes.
Full House or was it Saved by the Bell?
Saved by the Bell, that's it. It was Saved by the Bell where the character had an addiction to there was an episode of Full House that
I was
had
gonna say
the eating disorder episode
yes, eating. Yeah,
where she
yeah,
was only where she
yeah,
was only eating ice and it was very talked down to, but here
yeah.
it feels it feels less terrible.
They were trying, and to sort of go to your point about this being the era, we'll pick up next segment when we go to Space Ghost. What's the first guest they have on Space Ghost? A dietitian,
Yeah.
like a famous
Stop the insanity. Yeah, it's
yeah.
yeah.
So it was the era. I what I think in this episode is that they have the talk about dieting, and Molly's first thing is, "So you're gonna stop eating?"
You're gonna
And
stop eating?
just go. Molly goes straight hardcore with this, and no one ever kind of what I remember it throwing me as a kid a bit as well. No one ever calls Molly on that. Like Usagi gets her moment of like, "Oh, I'm the Moon Princess. I'm gonna be better," but none of the other girls get that. It's like, "Oh, I guess they didn't have Luna, so tough. Enjoy your disorders, girls."
Teenage girldom. Like, I'm
Also,
not gonna let you.
also, please do enjoy. This is one of the rarest episodes where we'll see Usagi's dad, who kind
Yeah,
of vanishes later on.
what what is going on with his voice? Can we just talk about Usagi's dad and his voice? Because what is happening there?
I guess they realize he isn't around for very long. It's like, well, we'll just get anyone.
Yeah.
Because
Like,
literally, we see him here, we see him in the background next episode, we see him back in a few more times. Then his next sort of major role is when Chibiusa arrives and hypnotizes them all with the parasol.
Yeah.
That's pretty much all he does. At the very end, this was in Japan as well. The end of the manga, when Usagi says her goodbyes before fighting Galaxia, she says goodbye to her mom. You never see it say goodbye to dad.
dad isn't real. Dad was taken over by Kenjaku at some point. I listening to that voice and the way he speaks, he also looks like a Crayon Shin-chan character. Like, is there like some weird thing I'm not catching on to with all these Crayon
There
Shin-chan
is a
characters?
lot of crossover between the two shows because the Sailor Moon characters appear in Crayon Shin-chan at some point.
Well, look at that.
I don't think it's an official thing. I think it's just the same animators and they just kept putting their thing in. It's not like the Hunter x Hunter stuff because the creative Hunter and Seven are married.
Yeah. No, but this episode does feel like I said it does kind of have a clear message. It does feel of its time, and it is like it sets the stage for what will be the nominally the fourth episode. Really, as John was saying, the seventh episode. With what we see how like Jadeite's like, power grab, so to speak.
Yeah, Jedi going sort of full weird with his plans, which I quite like.
Yeah.
Kind of like one of the things that another thing that I find funny they didn't cut is Melvin and his getting pictures of the teacher,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
you sit there and go, why was that left in? Because like the joke is he is stalking her and taking photos of her in the gym. It's like the lines sometimes are a bit fuzzy on what we're allowed and what we're not allowed.
Like I was
Anime
saying, it's
perverts.
always arbitrary. It's always arbitrary.
Yeah.
Anime perverts always have plot armor, even against the distribution company.
And yeah, just for context, episode 3, we cut about 1 minute and 33 seconds from Japan, and we cut about 2 minutes from episode 4, just
Oh.
from random cuts. It is how it is. I also, yeah, episode 4 is also weird because it kind of does build on it in that it's the toxic self-image stuff going on.
And it's Jadeite taking on kind of a flamboyant kind of persona appearance. This time he's targeting like celebrity as opposed to fitness.
God, I
Yeah.
love Jadeite so much.
Yeah.
Jadeite is like the best minion. Jadeite is so committed to the bit, no matter where he goes. And I love that for him. We don't get that energy out of Zoe Sight or Malachite, you know?
He was in Dark Kingdom for the costuming budget. Like he doesn't care about the like sort of the greater purpose. Metalia can go away. He wants free clothing.
Yeah.
Hey, we love a king who is going to dress up for the bit. And I like, is it weird that I like what they do with Jadeite's character? I like the subtle, like unhinged energy to how he's going after these weird weak points in society. Maybe he's the anti-capitalist.
he's a lot of fun. They get a lot of value from him from these episodes. It does kind of fall apart when we get the rest of the generals coming in. I also think because then you get stuff they're linked to Tuxedo Mask, which this kind of brushes right over, which is unfortunate because it's quite important. Yeah, this is where the foreshadowing falls apart a bit because oh yeah, you probably should have left that in.
You guys know Sailor Moon better than I do. What do you think we miss by cutting out so many episodes?
Not very much.
Just it's fine.
Sailor Moon's like I would always I have this when I introduce people to the show. The original anime just it's so slow now. It's so hard to get unless you're like me and you have like specific memories for like Cram School of Horror being one of my favorite episodes. It's pointless though.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, the original Sailor Moon. There are reasons to move things around in terms of the pacing because it is John's right. It is a very slow show to start.
I think especially now, I've mentioned this to a few. I mentioned it a few times to how people over the years, is that when we were kids, this was really exciting because we didn't know who those other Sailor Scouts were. We saw them in the intro. We had no idea who they could be. They could be anyone. They could appear at any time. If you go in now knowing that, and what you do, if you haven't seen Sailor Moon, you've seen the pictures. You know there are six of them until there's not six of them. So you know them, they're not there, and I think that ruins it a little bit. It kind of makes those episodes go from one could be around the corner at any moment. Who could it be? To okay, I want to see Mercury. I want to see Venus. I want to see them do the team roll call. Yeah. There's a reason Precure now goes. Yeah, within 2 episodes you'll have the team.
And I think that modern anime doesn't have the same patience that anime in the 80s and 90s had to kind of essentially set the mood. And I think that it also would have been a much harder sell in America to keep those episodes as drawn out as they were, especially considering how they were targeting Sailor Moon. Like they weren't targeting Sailor Moon at older girls, they were targeting it at like that 7 to 14 demographic.
Yeah.
Yeah, and obviously, yeah, we're going to hit this a lot with Toonami is that American children's entertainment had a very strict format for how many episodes you'd buy in blocks because you'd want to run one new one every night after school for a whole season. Yeah. Where in Japan, that isn't really a thing. Like you'll see it with Dragon Ball, that Pokemon has the same thing. Ran for like 10 years, missed 3 weeks. Yeah. All of them for Golden Week or for sports. That isn't a thing. Americans buy very specific blocks. It's 25, 26, so... Yeah. They wanted to end that. If they want to end that first block on something interesting, you kind of had to cut these episodes. When we talk about format, can I ruin the dub of Sailor Moon for you for a brief moment?
The Deke dub specifically?
Yes, specifically.
Go for
it. So when Deke were pitching to syndication partners, they actually sent them a binder full of stuff, like explaining the characters and all this. But it also included a breakdown of every episode and how long each section is, because each episode is exactly the same setup. So like segment 1 is 9 minutes long, segment 2 is 7 minutes, segment 3 is 2 minutes 34. Each will have so many transitions. Yeah, and once you see that it's the exact same time frame every time, you can't unsee it. Like you get this episode 4 is really bad for this because like how quickly the problem resolves itself in the end. So, oh right, we resolve things in segment 3 and it's only 2 minutes long. So kill Sailor Moon.
Yeah,
do it.
Don't wait.
One thing I noticed is that when they get close to one of those like early transitions where the screen is going to flip like we're in PowerPoint, if a character is talking before that, it seems like the timing is very weird because all of a sudden they'll speed up right before the transition.
Yes. Yeah, there's a few of those. You'll also know on the DVD version, which I've been using, you'll hear audio come in slightly early from fade outs, which is also a problem with that. So yeah, there's production's a little wonky at points.
You have like 4 dudes in a trash can, like trying to record all this.
Trying to cut Sailor Moon.
What was like? When did you guys start with Sailor Moon? Was it right from Jump? Was it the very first episode, or was it right around here? Because we're starting to get into the stuff that I'm starting to remember.
I think I was right from the start. I think I may have been a few in, but I remember like the Luna stuff and
yeah.
I was right from the jump too because I'm also the perfect demographic for the show. Like I was I was around 7 or 8 when the show started airing, and yeah, I remember right from the jump and sitting in my great grandma's living room, sitting right in front of the TV and eating a grilled cheese sandwich and watching it for the first time. I have a vivid memory of the first time I saw Sailor
Hmm. I mean, I didn't watch it. It was one of those things that like habitually, like I would cycle between several different channels, like in my basement growing up, that were all cable channels, unless it was like Simpsons time on Fox. And Cartoon Network was one of them, and when the Toonami block started, that became like required viewing for that afternoon block. And at some point it was, yeah, it was early on, so it would have been Sailor Moon. But I don't, you know, a lot of me watching episode one was watching or rewatching episode one was kind of watching it with fresher eyes and kind of I was touching on the foreshadowing earlier, that the unintentional foreshadowing earlier, and but now we're starting to get into more familiar and seeing Jadeite and all of his like really weird contrived antics to get more energy. Like starting to be like, oh, that's right, that's what the show is. Okay, at least at this stage. Yeah, okay, all right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Jadeite gets into some weird stuff, and
Yeah.
I gotta throw it out there. I think looking back on it, because I remember certain ones more. I didn't remember Jadeite as well, but now I'm like, damn, he's the best one.
Because he's clearly like, these are clearly more convoluted and complex schemes than he needs to come up with. He's just having a good time.
It's like Wile E. Coyote, but for anime.
The episode 4 that is one of me. It's like this plan is stupidly overcomplicated. Because like it's like okay, so we've got our mind control ray on our van that makes people want to sign up for this thing. They've got to join as teams for some reason. They can't join solo. Not sure why you would do that. But then we're going to have them qualify on that stage, come back a few days later to this theater, and then we're going to get the energy. Why not just do it now? Because they're already doing their things. Jade, I think you're just here for the fame.
Yeah.
He's here for the vibe. He's here for the vibe, and I'm so for that because I
I,
I feel like you don't get as many villains who are having as much fun with their villainy anymore.
I love a villain that's in it for love of the game. Like clearly there's a
Yeah,
master plan, but we're gonna take the scenic route to get there.
it this
Jedi is high camp, is
Yeah.
basically.
this is like a deep cut for a second, but like there's this other cartoon that came out much later on Cartoon Network called OK KO Let's Be
Oh,
Heroes.
yeah.
Oh yes.
And
Yeah.
their villains are all just in it for the love of the game. And there's some Jadeite in characters like Professor Venomous or what's his name? The little robot chicken guy who Professor Venomous marries at the end of the show. I cannot remember the name of that character. But yeah, like there's something very fun about the campiness of it. And I miss that in a lot of anime. I miss that campy
He's
energy.
got Doofenshmirtz vibes as well. Kind of like this plan is going to be on theme. Doesn't make sense, but there's a theme, and I'm sticking to it.
Yeah. Jesse and James would do this early on, you know.
Except James would be pretending to be the idol. They wouldn't get a monster. James would demand, it's like, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
going to do it.
talking of classic anime bits, we get in episode 3 one of what I would consider the ultimate example of 90s American anime dubbing. Usagi walking around with her dumplings full of bean paste.
Oh,
They
yeah.
are donuts in the English
They are
dub.
donuts.
Oh, it felt like a warm hug from the past.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I'd like to point out as well,
Before Brock, there was Usagi
and her black fill donuts. I also
Yeah.
want to point out in the German version of this dub, it's hamburgers.
Amazing.
Which
That's not what a hamburger looks
the
like.
most racially stereotyped kind of gag. It's like, what will explaining things to a German? Explain it via hamburgers.
Yeah.
I do want to take a minute to talk about Sailor Moon, or rather Serena's other crush. I want to talk about Andrew a little bit. I do want to talk about Andrew because
Andrew and his
I
back alley clinic.
I love Andrew and his back alley clinic. I remember as a little girl being like, Andrew is way better than Darian. I remember thinking that as a child. And Andrew comes through here being like, you know what? You're perfect just the way you are. You don't need to worry about this diet stuff. Let's go get some lunch. Like that's a good guy right there.
Also, Andrew, do many people faint in your arcade to require you to have a therapy couch in there? Or like, I sort of know, does it happen a lot, or has he brought it specifically? He's been waiting for the day. Like
I mean,
he sees a girl swaying, like fight, 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 fight.
Yeah.
to be fair, this is Japan before the Porygon episode of
Oh,
Pokemon. So you don't know what kind of flashing lights are happening in that arcade. They may need that.
aha, yes, good old Polybius. Which, to be fair, Polybius sounds like a Jadeite plan.
That does
Uh,
sound like a Jadeite plan. Like we're
also
going
sound, yeah, also sounds like a Pokemon. Look it up, guys. Look it up.
we're going to
but
use
but
this episode of television
but have the
to
lights
be
up and sit back
Yeah.
if you're going to look it up. Also, a fun thing about episode 4 is we get a weird bit of dubbing in that this is one of the only times that we'll see Usagi use Moon Tiara Vaporize as an attack.
Oh yeah.
It's Moon Tiara magic the rest of the time. And we'll also see her do the I banish you to the Negaverse, which she uses twice.
Time to
She
go to
uses
the Shadow Realm, baby.
yeah, she uses it here, then uses it against Queen Beryl. It's just,
Yeah.
we're fiddling with catchphrases to hope one of them sticks.
And we also can't we're also in that era of you can't say die. So you
Yeah.
have to use very specific terms. And we're sending people to the Shadow Realm. We're going to destroy them. I will annihilate you, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Go to the next world, the next
I'll
dimension.
send you to the next dimension.
Yeah.
With my
In the words of
buzzsaw.
Brian.
Which is to
With
say
this buzz.
hell.
Which is to say hell. I'm going
The
to send you
home
to
for infinite losers.
Or yeah,
Oh.
Heifel. Yeah.
Hiffle.
Hiffle. Yeah.
Oh,
Also,
Hiffle.
episode 4 has a weird 4-4 break, which caught me off guard. When Usagi's
yeah.
crawling through the stand, if you see Luna, let her know. It's like, sorry, Usagi, I'm not involved in this conversation. Thank you very much. Paste that wall back.
Well, this isn't Deadpool. Get back in there.
Yeah, I didn't give you permission to address me directly.
I was also thinking a little bit about the disguise pen, and I can't remember if this is true, but from what I understand, like I was just thinking about it from last time too. It's just like, does the disguise pen make her look older? Is that part of it?
Yes.
Okay.
But they
'Cause-
also change what they are quite a lot now. You'll see them, like last episode, it was meant to be, she wasn't a talent agent, she was a newsreader in Japan.
Yeah.
So it gets but I believe it is meant to make you look older.
But no, it's so fun going back to the Deke dub. I don't know why, and I know it's not a great dub. Like I understand that logically, but there's something about the nostalgia for me that it feels so right. You know what I
It's
mean?
terrible of its time. It reminds me a lot of like going back to watch the old 60s Godzilla dubs. They are not a good like representation of Godzilla as a franchise, but they are this very specific era of media that they are still charming in their own way.
I mean, for me, like those Godzilla dubs were like Saturday morning cartoons because sci-fi would always air it. It was cheap as hell to license, so they would have it. And I don't know, there's something just charming about, same thing with the Deke dub here. We were ragging on Usagi's dad earlier, and it was just kind of like, yeah, but that's just how it was.
Yeah, it's. I think kids today with their iPhones and their TikToks know that
TikToks.
the boundary for anime dubbing used to be very low.
Yeah.
Like listenable was considered an achievement for us because like these we say that these are bad now, but you get the cheap Harmony Gold stuff where it's actors from adult films who've just seen the script. Ghazi's Wing, like Ghazi's Wing, yeah. Ghazi's Wing used to be the standard. It was like, I'm going to go to Boston Well and fight something.
I think it's interesting to take a minute to talk about dubbing and the evolution of it because this is the basically kind of the pre-Funimation era, before they were consolidating, and Funimation did come about as a result of Dragon Ball Z, obviously, but like it's interesting to see that the idea of dubbing, especially when you're talking about stuff like 4Kids and Deke, and then when it transitions over to Funimation, and Funimation even doesn't really hit its stride. Like, I loved the original Dragon Ball Z dub, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of great stuff, but I don't think it hits its stride until Yu Yu Hakusho. And I think that became much more of the standard as time went on. But there's joy in these early dubs. There's passion in the project, or a distinct and terrible lack of passion. But I think that Deke had some love here.
And I think
Do you remember the early Funimation dub of Fruits Basket?
Yes.
Oh, don't.
Oh,
I don't want to talk about it.
but I think the thing to remember with these early dubs as well is that anime wasn't an industry. These shows were not known to producers, so they were brought because they were cheap. That sets a line of what level of actor you can get, how much time you can spend on stuff. Sure, you could go, oh, okay, we're going to do a whole new soundtrack, going to get all these new actors in. That costs money. And if the distributor's like, we want a show to fill this slot, we were willing to pay 500 an episode. Your budget is 500 an episode. It's not like today where it's like Dragon Ball guys come and say, look, we've got Dragon Ball. It's the biggest franchise in the world. Also, we
Like,
should. Oh, no, go ahead.
no. Go ahead.
I would say we should also catch on one of our final Sailor says for this episode, which is one of the ones that always bugs me. Be the star in your own life. Being famous is hard. Thanks for that, Moon Princess. Destined to rule the universe. Yeah.
Doesn't know that yet. She doesn't know that yet.
Luna does, and Luna's voice is in this. Luna could have said, hey, maybe don't say that, Usagi. It's hypocritical.
Yeah.
But Luna doesn't know at this point that she's the Moon Princess yet. I will say, this does come as a shock to Luna.
She has her suspicions enough to be like, maybe not.
Yeah,
Maybe.
she has a maybe suspicion, but
still-
she does think that Sailor V is the Moon Princess
true.
for
She
solid.
does, who is currently running around
I was
throwing
about to say,
people off boats.
she's still super snarky at this stage.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is, well, she has a right to be, considering Usagi tries to make her into a performing monkey. I have no idea what. That's my final point for this. I have no idea what that bit on the TV is referencing. It's clearly referencing an actual Japanese comedian with a monkey.
Yeah.
I cannot find who he is. I would say tell me if anyone knows, but I don't want to see it.
Don't need to know.
I don't think I understand that style of humor.
It might just be too culturally specific.
The monkey is now Vice Minister for Agriculture.
But how many Lunas could defeat one monkey?
Does Luna get to turn to a human? Because if so, actually, if we do the live action Luna, she has like the nuke power she gets for a brief moment.
Oh yeah.
The Luna nuke. Live action Sailor Moon. It exists.
Special.
It's
It's
a thing you can watch with your eyes.
With your eyeballs.
And question why there are clown monsters.
Whether or not you continue to have the eyeballs after, that's up to you.
Sure. Do we have any final thoughts on episodes 3 and 4, which is to say 4 and 7? I'm getting like Final Fantasy localization vibes doing this.
Dika finally realizing we can edit this, and they are not. Basically, the seal has been broken on the editing, and Deke will now not stop. Deke are the child who has finally got the scissors.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
How about you, Sam?
I mean, like I said, these are like where the camp starts to click to me. It's like, oh, that's right. This is this kind of this lunacy that we've signed up for the next several episodes. Okay.
Lunacy.
Yeah, keep it going.
Now,
Yeah.
But yeah, I love Jadeite so much. I'm gonna be sad when we part ways with Jadeite. His over the top Wile E. Coyote energy is something that I didn't even realize that I missed out of villains, and I'm excited to watch more again and to remember this huge part of my childhood. But we have reached our final destination. That's right, it is time to disembark off of Toonami Absolution. We have had a great time talking about the things that made us us and the things that made you you. And we can't wait to talk to you again. Once again, we have been your hosts. My name is Alyx.
I'm Sam.
I'm John.
And we'll hope to see you next time. Bang.